I'm going to go ahead and call the, it looks like Scott's still trying to get on. Sarah, if you could maybe get with him.
Yes, sir.
But, okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the December Board of Adjustment meeting to order. We go ahead and take our attendance here. I think there's out of the 5 members here, I believe we do have just 3 of us here tonight so far. I think our 4th one is trying to come on, and we do have one that isn't going to be here tonight. So, Justin, if you would go ahead and take a roll call.
Okay. Wendell Miller.
I'm here.
Obviously, yes. Scott Sanders. Justin Cothran's present. Mr. Cho.
Will not be here tonight.
Not absent. Don Jackamore.
Don Jackamore is, yeah, he's on. He's muted, but.
Okay.
We can't hear you, Don.
You're still muted, Mr.
Okay.
Jackamore.
All right. Yeah, we see him there. He's here. So, okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and, well, the first thing we always do, we approve the meeting minutes from the month before. I'll entertain a motion to if you guys have had a chance to look those over, we'll move to approve the November 23rd Board of Adjustment meeting minutes.
Yeah, motion to approve, Cothran.
Okay. Don, you want to go ahead and second that?
Yeah, I'm here. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve November's meeting minutes. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye. I'll say aye. Okay. Justin, if you want to, we need to go ahead and take a roll call for the record.
Okay.
I
Chairman
said
Miller.
I said yes.
Okay. Justin Cothran, yes. Don Jackamore.
Yes.
Okay.
Minutes approved, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right. The first item on here is we do have a request to table an item here. It's a notification deadline not met. It's a variance from Article 3.6.1 allowing 14-foot fence despite the 6-foot height limit located at 1102 Mackenzie Drive, submitted by Alejandro Fuentes. I'll entertain a motion to table this until next month.
This Don, I'll make a motion we table till next month.
Mr. Jackamore has made a motion to approve tabling this item.
Second, Cothran.
Second by Cothran. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
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 Okay. All right. Just go ahead and do a roll call, if you would.
Okay. Chairman Miller.
Aye.
Cothran, aye. Jackamore.
Aye.
Okay. It does pass. So item C, we have addition to a non-conforming structure to repair fire damage located at 314 South Waco, submitted by, I'm going to see if I get this name right here, Fabricio, is that right? Fabricio Duran. And Victoria, you have a staff report on that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
So this is an application to allow repairs to a non-conforming structure located at 314 South Waco. This property is located in the Inglewood neighborhood. It is an existing single-family home. It's an R1 zoned property surrounded by other single-family homes. Once again, this application is to allow repairs to a non-conforming structure. This is a single-family home that needs repairs due to some fire damage that it sustained a few months ago. In Article 9.3.2, the Board of Adjustment has been given specific guidelines in order to grant a variance. The first being that the applicant demonstrates that special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved and which are not applicable to other lands. Staff has found that the applicant has demonstrated that special conditions exist due to the fact that the literal interpretation of the provisions of this code would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by others by not allowing the applicant to make necessary repairs to the home. Article 7.2.1 of the Russellville zoning code states that a non-conforming structure may be remodeled to maintain the premises in a safe and usable condition. And the granting of this variance would allow the applicant to complete changes to maintain the structure as safe and usable. The second is that no other non-conforming uses in the area were considered as grounds for granting this variance. The third, the granting of this variance is in harmony with the purpose and intent of the code. The fourth, the granting of this variance is the minimum variance allowing reasonable use of the land. Fifth, there are no additional safeguards needed. And sixth, the proposed use is in conformance with the table of permitted uses. With all that said, staff does recommend approval of the application based on the findings that the literal interpretation of the provisions of the zoning code would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by others, and the applicant has met all other variance guidelines. And that is my staff report.
Thank you very much. Okay. Commissioners, you have any questions, or is there anybody, and I hope I'm not filleting that name, Fabricio?
Fabricio.
Huh?
Fabricio.
Okay. Okay. I'll just leave it with that. Y'all heard Dave? Dave said it right, and Wendell's not going to try it. So, but yeah, Fabricio. Okay. Is Fabricio on tonight?
I don't believe he's on the call. I do not see
Okay.
him.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions regarding this? This request. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
It's Don. I make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay. Don?
I'll second. Cothran.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the request for the repairs on this non-conforming structure here. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye. 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 Go ahead and get us a roll call on that, Justin, if you would.
Sir. Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Justin Cothran. Yes. Don Jackamore.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sounds like it does carry. All right. Next item is variance from Article 3.6.1, allowing a 5-foot fence and 6-foot gate in front yard despite a 3.5-foot height limit located at 269 South Inglewood Avenue, submitted by Jay Perrons on behalf of Kyle Hood. Victoria, take it away. You got a staff report on that?
Yes, sir. Yes, so this is an application to allow a 5-foot fence and a 6-foot gate in the front yard despite that 3.5-foot height limit located at 269 South Inglewood. This is also located in the Inglewood neighborhood. It is also a single-family home. It is an R1 zone property surrounded by other single-family homes as well as a cemetery. Once again, in Article 9.3.2, the Board of Adjustment has been given specific guidelines in order to grant a variance. Staff has found that the applicant has demonstrated that special conditions exist, as the properties to the north and south both have fences that also run along Inglewood. The property to the north is a single-family home whose back property line faces Inglewood, and this home has a wooden privacy fence that runs along Inglewood. And the property to the south is a cemetery which has a chain link fence that also runs along Inglewood. The applicant's proposed fence will be a wrought iron fence, which is less obtrusive than a normal privacy fence would be, or as the privacy fence that does sit to the north is. The applicant has met all other variance guidelines, and for those reasons, staff does recommend approval of this application as a result of the findings that there are fences that run along Inglewood to the north and south of this property, and the proposed fence will not be very obtrusive. And then lastly, the applicant has met all other variance guidelines. And that is my staff report.
Okay. Thank you, Victoria. All right. Is Jay on tonight? I don't see him, but
Jay was actually not working on behalf of their Board of Adjustment file. There was a little mix up. So Mr. Hood, I do believe, is here, Mr. Kyle Hood, to speak.
Oh,
on
okay. I saw Kyle, but I didn't see the last name. Sorry about that, Kyle. You have anything to add to that, Mr. Hood?
Nothing at all.
Okay. All right, commissioners.
This is Don. I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay. All right. Justin.
Cothran second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the variance request as presented by staff. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
Uh,
Go ahead and do a roll call, Justin, if you would.
Chairman Miller,
Yes.
Justin Cothran, yes. Don Jackamore,
Yes.
Does carry. Okay. All right. There you go, Kyle. All right. The next item
Thank
is we have a variance request, variance from Article 12, allowing a 15.9 15-foot 9-inch. Is that right, or is it 15.9 foot? Rear yard setback, despite the 25-foot requirement. I'm taking it that's a 15-foot 9-inch.
Oh, foot. 15.9 foot.
4.9 foot. So it is like it reads. Okay. All right. Let's make sure it wasn't a typo. Okay. 15.9 foot rear yard setback, despite the 25-yard requirement in the M1 located at 300 South Elmira, submitted by Barrett and Associates on behalf of Americold. Victoria, you want to elaborate on that?
Yes. So like Wendell said, this is an application to allow a 15.9 foot rear yard setback where the requirement is 25 feet in an M1 zone. So this is located in the Airport Industrial District. It is an existing cold storage facility, and it is an M1 zone property surrounded by other industrial uses. Once again, in Article 9.3.2, the Board of Adjustment has been given specific guidelines in order to grant a variance, and staff has found that the applicant has demonstrated that special conditions do exist. Because this back property line does abut a railroad line, so it will not be encroaching on another property. And although the applicant will not be utilizing the railroad for this new expansion, there is a provision in the zoning code in Article 12.1G, which states that industrial structures may be built to the side or rear property line where railroad siding facilities are utilized. And the property directly adjacent to the proposed building is also an industrial use and zone. The applicant has met all of the other variance requirements, and for those reasons, staff does recommend approval of this application based on the findings that the back property line is abutting a railroad line. The property directly adjacent to the proposed building is also an industrial use and zone. And lastly, the applicant has met all other variance guidelines, and that is my staff report.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. Dave, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, just a little bit, and I won't keep you long. The original design had the fire room inside the building, but then when mechanical started working on it, they realized that with the minus 30 degrees temperature in there, it would not be a good idea to have a water facility inside that building, not to mention that the way it's designed, the skeletal structure, the walls are supported by a skeletal structure on the inside, and it left a potential gap there with the room being on the inside. So they had to move it to the outside. They couldn't move the building north because they couldn't get their truck turning motions to fit within their property. I talked to Richard Setian and showed him everything, and he said he was okay with it. The good thing about it was Energy had a line back there, but they've removed it. So there's no longer an obstacle for vehicles to be able to go back and forth in the back there. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Commissioners, you have any questions for Victoria or Dave, either one? If not, what is your pleasure?
This is Don. I'll make a motion to approve as presented as well.
Okay, we have a motion to approve as presented.
Cothran, second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the variance request as presented. And all those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Justin, can you do a roll call?
Yes, sir. Chairman Miller?
Yes. Yes.
Justin Cothran? Yes. Don Jackamore?
Yes.
It does carry. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. The next item here is a request to table. It's a variance from Article 12 allowing front yard setback 19 feet despite the 25-foot requirement location located at 2011 East Parkway Drive, submitted by Max Lawton. You want to go ahead and, do we have anything on that, Victoria? You want to elaborate on that? Or do we need to just move forward on that?
Wendell, we had talked about this as Sarah. We had talked about telling the applicant that we will be hearing their application January
Yes.
7th. At this point, January 7th will be an in-person meeting because the emergency declared by the governor has not been extended beyond the December 31st deadline. And so I have informed the applicant that we will be hearing that application at the January 7th meeting.
Do you see any reason why we do have a few days before the end of the year. I mean, has the governor acted like he's going to extend that, the mandatory, meeting? I mean, we're still going to be able to meet in person on the 7th, I guess, right?
The option to allow virtual meetings was only issued as part of the emergency disaster declarations that the governor issued, and those expire on December 31st. So virtual meetings such as this will no longer be an option unless the legislature reconvenes. My understanding is they are not going to be reconvening before the beginning of the year or their normal session in January. Our next planning commission meeting is January 7th, which is a week from Thursday. And so we will be meeting in person at council chambers next week.
Okay. All right. We will be hearing this in person, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I was going to announce at the end of the meeting. And, unless something happens in the next 3 days, at the governor's office, then we will be meeting at council chambers on January 7th. So, but we do need to request to table this until the next meeting. If I could get a motion on that.
This is
Motion
Don.
to
I'll make
table.
a motion to table it.
Okay. All right. We have a motion to table. So here's a second.
Second, Cothran.
Okay. We got a second. All right. We have a motion and a second to table this variance request until January 7th meeting. We will hear it. All those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye. Justin, go ahead and give us a roll call.
Chairman Miller?
Yes.
Cothran? Yes. Jackamore?
Yes.
That'll do it.
Okay. All right. Unless we, Sarah or Victoria, unless you guys have anything else, looks like we've completed the list for December. We wish everybody a happy new year, and we'll see you in a week and a half, I guess. So, we are adjourned.